special. That's wrong. We're all special. We're all just starting to realize it. That's what I want people to start saying is, we're special. And so are you. And I used to do the same thing. I'm not anything. And then I realized one day the Lord said to me, oh, yes, you are. You are my creation. You are my handiwork. And I want you guys to know that you are special. Created in the life. We're going to hear some of those stories right now. I want you to get on your feet and tell me welcome. It's hard to tell your story. It's scary to tell your story. But these are 3 stories that rose to the top as we looked through several. And I want you to help me welcome to the stage Susan and Michael Wade.
I was the director of operations for a healthcare company. For any nutritional medications every management, managing lots of pharmacists, and we in the healthcare world. And I wanted to kind of get out of working for somebody else, going to work every day, pouring yourself and your heart into something. We really had nothing to show for it at the end of the day. And
getting started, I was pregnant, like I said, and my dream was to be a stay-at-home mom. So our plan was, okay, you're gonna quit, and you're gonna be a stay-at-home mom. He was working this job, and they kept promising him, your salary's gonna triple, you're gonna get this great promotion. So we had all these plans, and we had the baby, and the promotion didn't come. And I remember just sitting in the car, and Michael looked at me and he said, you're going to have to go back to work. I'll give you, we're going to wait till January. And if nothing comes up, you're going to have to go back to work. And that just broke.
So when did you hear about it works?
I heard about it works. I'd seen it on Facebook a little bit, and I had a few people talking to me, but Brooke, who is here tonight, she was just she gave me so much information. She knew I was a nurse. She knew I was going to be skeptical. And for about 3 months, I said no. And finally, I said, okay, it's $25. Let me try it. I loved my results. Michael was just blown away too. We were just so shocked. And I prayed about it for about a week. Michael kept saying, unless you're passionate about something, I don't want you selling it. So I knew after praying that this was going to be something different.
You used Facebook to launch. Tell us a little bit about your launch. Not necessarily the details of your launch, but how quick it took you to kind of realize that you didn't have to.
I think that I even texted Brooke before I signed up, and I said, I want to make sure that people are going to want this, which is crazy even saying now. And I posted a before and after picture, and I literally had 30 appointments made. And I called her and I said, I'm going to have to get some racks. I remember crying in November because I didn't order enough racks, and I was freaking out because so many wanted them. So, I mean, my Facebook just blew up. It's still growing today, and you know, Facebook isn't an amazing tool. It's not the only tool, but for us, that's what's really helped my business.
You know, whenever I hear somebody say, you have to go back to work, that means there's debt, and you really don't own your life. And so you work real hard and you own, and you earn the good bonus. How has that changed your life?
I was sitting here thinking, you know, financially, yes, it's changed our lives. But what's so great is he's in a new job now to where he took over the family business, and he never would have been able to do that because obviously it takes money. And I love that I can say, hey, Michael, I need to go get my hair done, and he can choose his hours. He can say, sure, go get your hair done. I watch Vivian, that's my little girl. So just the time that we've been able to spend together, you know, we've only been married for 2.5 years, and I just feel so blessed that I've been able to have that time with him and have that with my little girl.
So one of the things that really struck us about your story was, first of all, one thing I really want to say too is we keep talking about, you got to know why you're in this business, and clearly theirs is that she should stay home once she had children and be the one. You know, it was her personal choice. That's what she wanted. And she worked hard enough to make that happen, and she had to support her to make that happen. But something happened really not that long ago, and in St. Louis, you know, we don't hear enough sometimes about the impact of other words for somebody on our team to make. But Dr. Don did something for you that really changed, and I just take a moment to share that. That would really be special.
So, you know, I started in November, and I worked really, really hard, and my team worked really hard. And Triple Diamonds was something I really wanted in May, and I just worked so hard. Before we went to the beach, and he was signing up little customers left and right, and he was getting his car bonus as well, and we found out that I was pregnant, and I was so excited. I was going to go triple, and I was going to have a baby. You know, I had a 9-month-old at the time, and the pregnancy was perfect, and I just was like, oh, I'm pregnant, and like I told everybody, I remember telling them, I was like, I don't know how far along I am, I'm just pregnant, I'm so excited, you know, not even thinking. And I remember we went on a Friday night, and I got to see the heartbeat. We had gotten pictures made to announce it, and then the next day we lost the baby. And the Lord is all over this business, you guys. He's everywhere. So with that comes the devil. He's wanting to bring this company down. So he started putting horrible thoughts in my head. These thoughts were, this isn't the company for you. Yeah, you're making all this money, it's going to go away soon, and your team's going to fall apart. But not only that, he was telling me that all that work that I was doing was the reason I lost my baby. The stress. I killed my baby. And the supplements that I was taking. I mean, horrible thoughts. I mean, we have all natural products, and he was telling me that the greens, of all things, the greens is the reason I lost my baby. I was taking too many greens. Which sounds so crazy, but y'all, that's what I believe. And if you've ever lost a baby, you sit there and you beat yourself up. What could I have done differently? So I went to St. Louis. And I was sitting there, and I was there, I was listening, I was trying to be supportive and, pump up my team. But I kept seeing all these women walk around with their cute little bumps and all their babies, and I was so angry. I was so sad because I was supposed to have that. So we went out to lunch. And it's very funny how the Lord works. We did not get to eat because the Mexican restaurant was horrible and they didn't serve us after that. So we were late again. And I was walking by, and Dr. Don was standing there answering questions. And I walked up, and I didn't want to tell him anything. I just said, I'm a nurse, and I just need to know the ingredients and the greens are okay for pregnancy, and I need you to, and I mean, it was like he just looked at me, and he knew. And he hugged me, and he prayed for me, and he said, you know, you cannot let this affect you. You did not do this. And I don't know why, but after that, it was like this huge weight was lifted off of me, and I walked back in, and I looked at Belinda Barrier, and I just said, things are different. It just completely changed me. So yeah, I had this great success, but for those of you that are sitting there, and you're going to, every single person on the stage, we're all going to go through hardships. The devil's going to tell you some very false things. Do not ever give up. And I was triple diamond, and I wanted to not get out of bed. I wanted to give up on my team. Don't ever quit. So, I mean, don't quit.
Racial injustice is definitely, I feel like you're just a special place in my heart. I love you guys very much. And I'm excited for you guys to share your story. You really have a dynamic story. You've been there about 4 years. But why don't you tell us, prior to It Works, what you were doing, and just if you have to share the past and what you're pre-It Works.
Okay, well, I've been in this industry for 13 years. I built a very successful business with another company for 10 years. Made it to the tippy top of that company, and during that journey, I went through a lot of things. You know, when I started, I was a stay-at-home mom. That was always my dream as well. I have 3 kids. They were babies at the time. And I just wanted to be home with them, but I also wanted my own money. And so I just wanted to make $200 a month, but I didn't even know how to talk to adults. I was very shy and very nervous all the time. I was a gymnastics coach, so I was great with kids. But I had great results on the product, so I just started telling family and friends about it, and that was kind of easy to do. And so I got customers, and then I had some people that wanted to sell it with me, and over 4 years, made it to the top of the company, got a car. I mean, it's like the biggest thing I had ever done. I conquered a ton of fears. I used to have panic attacks, and I mean, on the way to an appointment once, I actually had to pull over on the highway. The toll guy had to call the paramedics, and they took me to the hospital. I thought I was having a heart attack or a stroke. It turns out it was a panic attack, but I kept going. And my new motto became, you know, if you feel the fear, that's just you to do it anyway. And I was able to raise my kids that way. So I have the bravest kids ever. My oldest is just like me. He used to walk with his hands in his pockets and his head down, and now he's this confident kid off to college. During that time, about maybe 7 years in, my business that I built and I loved started to go backwards due to the economy. And for 3 years, I fought so hard to keep that business going, this business that made me who I was, this business that I had my whole identity wrapped around it. And it was devastating, it was heartbreaking. And my husband was in sales at the time as well, in pharmaceuticals, and that whole industry was changing. And together we were sinking fast. We had to move from our house and our city where we had our kids growing up in, away from all of their friends, and pulled them out of private school, and we self-repoed our car, and short-sold our house and our boat, and everything that we thought mattered, which
doesn't matter at all. And we learn so many things along the way. I would never take any of that back because I learned so much. We learned what was important, and it led us to this incredible company and these incredible people. In our lowest of lows, I called my dear friend Tina Beer, who I knew was doing something else and I wasn't quite sure what it was. I actually didn't call because I wanted to join her business. I just wanted to hear that it was like that everywhere, and as long as I kept moving forward, which is my husband's motto, don't freeze, just keep one foot in front of the other, we're going to make it, we're going to make it. I just wanted to hear that that's what I needed to do, but what I heard from her changed everything. That phone call, that 2-3 hour phone call, changed our whole life. And it's just been phenomenal. And I'm just going to have to keep going, but I'm going to pass it to my husband because he's been such a huge support. And I'm moving up the year without him.
Jeff, so the finances are gone. You had to live with one of your parents. Is that right? Your parents. That's really hard to do. Have to move back and home after you've done, if you've really had everything. Hard on us as children, you're not providing well for your child, and then you make it for your children, and maybe we can help you get into this mess. And yet, economy can flip on a dime, and we feel like we have the security, we have false security. And then on top of that, I know your health was really a mess, which, you know, when we have that kind of stress on the life, our bodies are just not meant to work underneath that kind of load. So, Jeff, why don't you just describe when things were at your worst, when you had to do some of the hardest things you ever probably never thought you would have had to do. Why don't you just talk a little bit about when things started making a shift? Some of the things we learned. Because when we go through really bad things, just what you said, Susan, you think it's the worst thing ever, but we learn some of the most amazing things. You know, that refining fire is really true. You can't have the intimacy and blessings that you can learn without going through those things. So maybe, Jeff, you can kind of continue on with the story from there.
Well, thanks. Thanks for having us, by the way, up here. And she's not so shy anymore, so there's I think a big part of this is personal growth. She went through a lot of the journey already, but the parts and pieces that I always talk about is that we're not on an island. We've been through some pretty trying circumstances. This is tough for me.
Good.
We lost everything. Money. We weren't good stewards of our money. We had an opportunity. We had a lot of money at one point, and we're thankful for this second chance. Thank you, life. You have to have faith. I mean, without faith, nothing is possible. With it, nothing's impossible. And that's why we feel so blessed, especially me, Cindy, being part of the Works family, because this is what it is. It is a family. We spent all our money, like I said, boats, cars, $1 million homes. We had it all. But in reality, we had nothing. We were empty inside, just trying to keep up with other people. We weren't ourselves. And I had no faith. And thanks to my wife, I'm able to believe again. And I believe that the worst possible thing that you could ever do is just curl up and fall and freeze. You have to believe in yourself. Our saying is to always move forward, no matter how hard it is. No matter if you think it's the end of the road. Believe in God, believe in your faith, believe in each other, and work as a team. It's just been amazing. I'm trying to thank you for my mother and father-in-law, very humbling. I didn't know, one thing I did know is that we would continue to move forward. I think you got to give yourself enough credit, enough time. It took us 5 years to tangle ourselves up in this mess. So my grandchildren always would say, well, we don't, when are we going to get out of this? When are we going to be back the way we were? When are we going to be given this opportunity? I said, if it takes 5 years to create such a mess, you got to give yourself at least 5 years to undo this mess. And you have to have that vision. And we were able to do it in a little bit shorter time frame thanks to it works. Because when she decided to do it works, we were both doing something new. Her mom had to give her the money to pay for us to get started. We didn't know. That's how we were broke, just broke. And we were just, but we never froze, and that's really the key.
So today, things are a lot different. Why don't you just recap for us? I mean, it's so awesome to do you working together. One thing, when you say you lost it all, you did lose it all. You did children, you did support family, you did lose each other. And those are the three things that the world cannot take away from you if you don't want them. And two are strong. That third chord, the Lord around you. I mean, He just holds things together that nobody else can. And so today it's a whole different situation. Your debt. Maybe just real quick, give us a very quick recap of where you are today.
Okay, well, when things started rolling with this, and we knew that this was definitely going to be our way out, we were going to do it different this time. The game was going to be how much money can we put in the bank? How much debt can we pay off? And we wanted to send our kids to college debt-free, especially listening to Rachel Cruz at conference last year. The average kid comes out of college at $50,000 to $100,000 in debt minimum, and then they marry somebody else with the same amount of debt. Our oldest just left for college a couple of weeks ago. We were able to pay cash for his first year at private college. And he did not have student loans. He's just the first of 3. Our daughter is back in private Christian middle school, paid for all year, done. We have 4 cars in our family. We have 2 teenage drivers, and we paid cash for all of them. We were able to buy our son a new car. It's not a new car. We don't buy new. That's a waste of money. We learned. A new car for him, so a safe car for him to drive back and forth to school. We paid off over $85,000 in debt.
Thank you guys. Okay, now we have Jay Brandon and Amy Wilson. You guys have been there just a little more than a year, and yet you've really been double diamonds, and you're doing great. You're working together as a team. Why don't you real quick just tell us what you were doing before work?
Before it works, I actually owned a successful hair salon for 5 years. It was a salon and spa. It actually got torn down for road construction. So here I got it at Evergreen, and it really didn't. It was devastating when it happened. I didn't see it as a blessing at the time, although looking back now that I own my time, I realized that I spent every day there, open and close. And my 2 kids had to go to work with me every day. Because I didn't have a family with me, but I couldn't afford to here. And I had kids who were people who brought their children to play, and I kind of like left them there. So they were at work with me. I think it's for the time. And my kids would go home. It's about 10 a.m. That's why I held it. And I think it was. And talk about it over the
Okay, Jay, can you tell us what you were doing before?
Yes, prior to coming to Workside, I worked for the University of Pittsburgh. I did video production for them for 10 years. And due to this awesome business and amazing opportunity, the manager is able to rewire me back in May. So I'm now doing real work for them.
So, this unexpected bump in the road, how amazing did you hear about it? Because I know you were about first to share it with
Yeah, actually Jay heard it, but the back is where.
But you were smart enough to do it.
Yes, I was. And it's his friend, that's my own. So, when someone closed works that kind of shattered my self-esteem, people didn't really see it on the outside. But it did. And I started doing figure and body building. I don't know, it helped me feel better about myself, but one thing people don't realize is it's a very selfish sport. It takes 100% of your time and your dedication. Planning your meals, going to the gym 2 times a day, again taking time away from my and my children as well. And it's for our relationships part. However, at my show last year in the summer, I placed 7 out of 17. And when I asked for judge feedback, they said I needed to come in tighter. Work my butt off. There was no extra fat anyway. But I knew that it was the stretch mark from the loose skin in my stomach. That's the only thing that was there. And Jay suggested I try that food rapid. That does not work. There's no way that works. Again, I owned a salon in Scholar. We did body bath. Everybody, I would do my own, big sweatsuits, jump around with a maniac.
So you even considered doing something really drastic. You had the money and your salon was closed, but what were you considering doing until you were smart enough to cover it?
And had a consultation, and they wanted $7,000 for that nice, beautiful scar from hip to hip. And I was dead set on getting that. I did not think that the crazy rat thing could take care of my problem. No matter how good it is, I need to be cut open.
So moving forward, you did try the crazy rat thing. It did work.
Yeah, at first I bloated a lot, and I called Misty Grundon, very upset. I had another doctor who was doing it just a couple weeks, and I'm like, I'm fatter. What am I going to do? She's like, just drink the water. I said, I drink a gallon of water a day. Like, how much water do I have to drink? So she said, just drink the water, just trust me. Okay. Drink the water, kind of forgot about it. 3 days later, took the pictures, and everything was gone. Stress marks, loose skin, everything was gone.
So we know the action works. And now back in the letter that you had said, preparing for that really put stress on the relationship. So the two of you did end up breaking up, and that devastated you.
Yeah, he actually moved out.
The cool thing that did for you was it took you to someplace on a Sunday morning. Why don't you just go there real quick?
Okay, so I visited a new church that he, again, had been trying to get me to go to. He seems like the smarter one. Can't remember if I admitted that. But I finally tried it, and it was crazy. I've never seen him do a skit there ever again, but that day they did skit on the stage. And the girl that they were portraying, it was me. It was my life. And of course it was falling, but it was that the second time. And that message was for me yet again. And he had this weird feeling at that time that JJ there, but I didn't see him anywhere. And of course I was thinking back, so I could see he was there. And I'm reading and just taking it all in and praying and saying, you know, I need answers. I don't know what I'm to do. I can't pay my rent. We're going to be down the street. And he called my name. He was there. He was behind me. So, that church told me that, and it was weird, I don't know how it happened, and told me that this opportunity was going to be open up. And then it already became a stranger, but I didn't do anything with it. Just sat there and Misty would call. Said, hey girl. She's always excited. Hey girl, we're going to have a lunch party. I am not having my lunch party. I am in a crisis. I do not have time for that. And she was like, okay. And she texted me again. Hey girl. we had, I think, 6 people in attendance, and I asked Jay to come, and he said,
Absolutely not. See, at this point in our breakup, we were really not amicable with one another, and there was a lot of resentment on both sides. And so she did ask me to come support her, and I said no, I wouldn't. But Misty and I have been friends for years, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna go because Misty's gonna be there, and I haven't seen her in a long time. So I'll go to your party because I'm gonna go see Misty. But see, she knows she's wrong. So as soon as I walk in, she hands me 2 raps and says, "Rap these people." And I'm like, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? She's like, I don't either. I just found my Misty. So I'm like, okay. So I watched them, and they rapped up a couple people, and I rapped up a couple people as well. And after the 45 minutes, people that I had rapped had amazing results. They were just, I was blown away by the results. So that experience at that launch party actually made me a believer in the product as well. And I decided at that moment that I would become a distributor also.
That's really cool. Now, you obviously time quick ahead, and as you started to put this as your main focus about a week in the bodybuilding, you saw some changes. Jay, what was some of the personal growth and just some of the changes you saw in her? Because obviously, if you got so much on you, it's like what she said, you become sick of it. And pretty soon, if you don't do something about it, you physically become sick. So you see an emotional and those kind of changes in her. But what did you see sort of positive that started happening with her and this business?
I saw she was a totally different person from the person that I had come to resent. She was so positive, and she had become so much more spiritual. Her faith had just gone through the roof. She was, attending church regularly and just working with the business to the point where she was being extremely successful. And that started to really have a positive influence on me. And we're very competitive, so still at that point we were not together, but we were working our business, and I was obviously signed under her. So, I started working my business heavy too, because I'm like, you know what, I will not let that woman make more money than me. So, I started working real heavy, and little did I know, I ended up being her strongest leg. And it got to a point where, a few months later, we just kind of looked at each other and said, what the heck are we doing? This is for us.
So you get back together.
We got back together.
And, Jay, why don't you ask the last question for me?
All right. Well, I want to say something to Amanda here. We've always managed to emerge from the rubble, hand in hand, next to each other with our chins up and our chests out. And so today, Amanda,
sharing the testimony of all of us. Congratulations. Okay, I think we're not going to take a break. You guys want to keep going with this? We're getting a little behind new cool stuff that we're doing, but why don't you help me then wait? Welcome back to the stage. Mike Vitale will keep this party going.
be able to share your story and share it together. You know, in network marketing, what's very interesting is that there's a lot of companies out there that attract men, that attract women, that attract couples. But I've been a student of this industry for almost 15 years now, and I can tell you this. There's a lot of companies out there, not a lot, but several companies that actually do more in sales than it works global, that are very much women-driven. And they don't pay women what they're worth. Period. I think It Works Global pays women what they're worth. There's no ceiling on the income that you can make, and what's awesome is that it also pays men what they're worth. There's a lot of guys getting involved. It allows, absolutely, get it up there, guys. But what's very cool is that it gives couples an opportunity to work together, to be a team. I mean, that just shows right there what's possible with this company. So we want to get some top money earner marketing tips. BYOB stands for Build Your Own Business. And you heard it Diamond Time, if you're diamonds and above. You know, we went through some great Facebook online marketing tips. Today we're going to talk about building as a couple, building as a man, building as a woman in the business. So help me welcome to the stage Joel and Stephanie Dunn. Is that okay with you guys? Woo! Yeah. Got some microphones? We got some microphones? We're good. All right. Make yourself comfortable. We're going to knock this out. If I could get the time on the clock, so I'll make sure that I stay on my time. Thank you. Did that really just happen? Turn in, instead of building as a couple's therapy. We plan that, right, Quentin? Yeah, okay. Well, guys, what I get excited about when we dig into this business, It Works Global allows people, as a man, as a woman, as a couple, to be able to work together. All of you guys work together. I know Daniel, he couldn't make this time, but he's here behind you. He's right there. It's a little creepy, but he's there. And what I get excited about is that when you work together as a team, you've got responsibilities individually, you've got responsibilities as a couple. And we know that at the end of the day, as a couple, if you're going to be working together, we know that everybody pitches in and does what they got to do at home. They got to do what they do with the kids. But I want to get in for the next few minutes, and guys, please hit me on the time on the clock. Give me 20. What I want to talk about is specific things that you do in the business. From a marketing perspective, what are you doing to build your business individually? What are you doing to build your business as a couple? So, Nikki, I'll go to you first. You and Chris, you've been in the business how long?
3 years.
You've been in the business 3 years. Chris, you were chiropractor. You had everything going for you from a traditional business. And you and Nikki decided, what, it's time to work as a couple. And coming from traditional business, and really being your own boss already, you had a ton of overhead things going on. Nikki, how do you guys now? Chris was not in the picture from It Works for the most part until recently in a full-time building. He was there only supporting, but now you guys are working together. How has that impacted your business positively? How do you guys manage that as a couple? I think there's a lot of couples out here that can do that.
Yeah, Chris was able to retire next year, a year ago, from his chiropractic practice. It's exciting for us, but we did have to get rewired because I kind of led it with the business and I wanted to run it and be a one-man show. And so I think a tip for everybody and something that we've learned along the way is to really incorporate your husband into the business if they want to be included. I made the mistake of thinking that it was my business because I started it by doing parties and doing that kind of stuff and Chris helped behind the scenes. And so I didn't want to let that go. And so, like Pam says, we have to get over ourselves, right? And so it can be an ego trip for yourself when you do. And so once I started to realize that, I think it was Quentin that kind of triggered, because I was talking to Quentin and Lori, and I think he kind of gave an eye roll at one point when I was talking
he does what I let him do. And that was an eye-opener for me. And so now, having him be able to connect, and he signs up people all the time. And I didn't give him that credit that he could sign up people as much as I could. So it really doubles our efforts and just keeps us strong because I can only do so much, he can only do so much. But together, we are more of a powerhouse and we're able to connect with more people and get more people on board and help our team.
Let me ask you this, Nikki, like, what on a daily basis, give me a couple things that, like, it's your job in the business that you do.
You know, they kind of cross over, but my job is more to touch base with my leaders and talk with them, talk with prospects, meeting with people and that type of stuff, more of that front end. Chris certainly does that, but I think that I take more of a charge of that front piece. And so on a daily basis, I'm going to keep my back office, I'm keeping in contact with prospects and checking my calendar and things like that and getting in touch with my team.
So it's organized, I like that. So you know exactly what you're doing. I mean, obviously sometimes things overlap, but let me jump back to Chris. Chris, I mean, you come from a professional background, you come in, you go full board with First Global. I mean, obviously it changed because you already knew you had to get up and you had a schedule and had this. How have you been able to take your professional experience? Because obviously professionals in this audience that are building at work. What do you do as a guy, you know, whether it's on your own or building a couple, what do you do on a daily basis to go out there and build a business?
Well, I think the first thing I think is very important for everybody to know is that when you do make that transition from kind of dabbling or supporting to being more of a full-time role, that you really have to treat it like a business. And the fact that you don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and drive to the office, it takes a little bit of change. You have to learn how to kind of manage your time. And I think for us, the biggest thing that we needed to help with that was we really plan our days and our weeks and our months. And we have a calendar. We knew what we were going to do, you know, moving forward. As far as day-to-day, there's nothing in this business that a woman can do that a guy can't. The guy can do exactly what the woman can do. I really enjoy reaching down into our organizations. I enjoy working with new distributors. You know, Nikki works with a lot of our leaders, and it really helps us formulate the big plan strategy. But those brand new distributors need a lot of handling. And unfortunately, since there's time issues and how we do that, so having two people who can do that is just we could divide it out.
Yeah, I love that. Let me jump over to you because I know that you know you've got a lot of guys that are out there building a business daily. But what I think a lot of guys have this perception of sometimes that I got to go out and share this with all my buddies, and absolutely do that. But I think sometimes we've had talks, you, Joe, myself, about smart men out there building a business. Yeah, you're going to share this with your friends, but guys don't want to lose perspective of also sharing this with the ladies, because a lot of times the women or the wives, they may join first because they're at a rap party and they hear about it. So how do you make it work as a guy working on a daily basis?
Well, I have a very specific target market that I like to talk to, and it's called everyone. Quite honestly, as a dude, the way we communicate with each other, guys, women, we pick at each other, we get at each other. And you're friends with some of the worst people to try to talk to you about your business because that's the way guys communicate. And so I never really focused on anyone individually. I let our lifestyle, I let the changes that we were undergoing, I let that speak to my inner circle, if that makes sense. Because we're going to dig at each other. But on a daily basis, man, I just live the bliss. That's what I do. I live the bliss. There's nowhere that I'm not going or have been that I'm not working my business on a daily basis. I live to talk about what I do in a sense because everyone that I encounter could really benefit from either our products or our business. And so on a daily basis, Laura and I, we like to say that we ham and egg it, man. I want the bird dog out there. I'll talk to anybody, and she will close them like you've never seen. And so my job out there is to talk to everybody that I can talk to. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. I don't care. The only thing I would say is that I feel pretty comfortable defining a line, and it's, there's exceptions to every rule, but when I'm talking to guys, I'm talking about the business. When I'm talking to women, I'm talking about products. That's generally how it goes for me. There's always exceptions to that rule, but everybody out there is someone that I live with because everyone needs our products or everyone can benefit from our business model.
I love that. So, Laura, you guys, you come from traditional banking background. You've got Rewired, and you've been excited about that. Lori, how has that been a positive in your business? Because I know that
Oh my, it's been so positive.
it really has. I mean, it's something that, I watch you guys just grow and grow and grow. I know, you were building a business when we were supporting you. Now you guys, you're a rock solid team. So how does that work as a couple building? Let me share that at one of our previous events. Let's talk about building as a couple now.
Mike, 14 years ago, I married my best friend. And I would have never, ever imagined 14 years today that I would be able to share a life-changing opportunity with him on a daily basis and own our own time. Our lives have been so dramatically changed. We have supported each other in whatever venue we've taken on. But with this particular business, we have kind of treated this business just like we've treated our marriage all along. Traditional roles don't exist. They don't exist. If the job needs to be done, it just gets done. We don't expect for me to just rap, but he raps too. We don't just expect for him to go get all the leads. I get the leads too. And so we do hand in this, we work within our strengths. We have weaknesses, but we don't focus on our weaknesses, guys. Every self-help book out there is going to tell you to work on your weaknesses. Let me tell you, in the momentum that we're in right now in this company, you're working this business with your partner, your best friend, work within your strengths because they got your back on your weakness. And so you just really know that there's jobs that's got to be done and you just work together. And that's the beauty of this business.
I love that. Work within your strengths because sometimes, you may be better at something, or Brent may be better at something, or vice versa. And I think that a lot of people need to take it to heart because, don't necessarily do what you're not good at. Do what you're best at and find somebody else to do it.
And do it more and more and more and repeat.
I love that. I love that. Let me jump to Joel. Joel, you and I remember the first time we met, and, you've got that entrepreneurial spirit. You've been out there year after year after year, and I see you and Steph, you do a lot on the lifestyle. And I think a lot of times when we look at success, if you come from a chiropractor background and professional, people expect people to have a doctor in front of their name or a PhD or whatever to be a little smarter than maybe a college dropout or something like that. And then we can talk about health, but at the end of the day, the lifestyle you can create at work is unparalleled. You guys have been able to use that piece to not only attract men, women, couples, and talk about how you build your business through building it.
That's one of the important things, and I like what Kim says, you don't live the blitz, you live it works.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it does. And that's what we do. So when you have that kind of a lifestyle, you can share it with people. And don't be afraid to share the things that you're doing. Take pictures here, post them. People want to see what you're up to. When we're going places, the greatest thing that you as a couple can do is dress almost alike. Don't match. We're a couple. Make sure one team, that's right. Make sure that you guys are totally branded out. A perfect example was 2 weekends ago when we were in Boston, and Boston just had one of the UFC fights, and we pulled up in the car, and the valet guy comes, opens the door, and we walk up, and we're all branded. It works. All of the fighters are branded with all of their sponsors. So the first thing he asked was, how did your fight go last night? Yes, definitely, yes. But the thing is when you're together and you look like this, people can't help but ask you. And it becomes your business and you'll lead into a blitz or a lead into a talk about a product. It is your life. And that's what you need to post. So you find somebody who wants to make sure you're, hey, do you mind if I get a picture of you? So I can, post it with all my friends. I mean, that's pretty much what we do as a couple. Kind of exactly like you said, we complement each other. So if you're a husband out there right now and you're thinking about it's time for retirement and you're getting ready to leave your job, you've been used to an 8 to 22 hour day at that slave hold for however many years. You have to realize that you're going to be getting into her personal space when you walk back home and you're actually home for those hours. So you guys need to have a good talk about what it means to work together, how you're going to best complement each other. Because that's, if you see all the couples up here, we are pretty good at complimenting each other or tearing each other down from each other. But make sure that you're there to help each other. And you'll find out just from those talks
that you guys have separate strengths and separate weaknesses, and they kind of go meeting. I think, Stephanie, we make a joke sometimes in meetings is that a lot of times in the beginnings, the men a lot of times go, honey, how's your business? And then when a comma gets in the check, it's, honey, how's our business?
Still mine.
But okay, this side will work on. Okay. But the thing about that, it's very true. A lot of times, when you guys have worked together for a long time, and so many people out there, they have a husband or a spouse or a wife that comes home, and it's almost like, you almost feel like you say, it's like, this is my business, and I think one of the biggest things that we can do is, accept our spouses, and let's find our strengths, work in that. How do you guys do that, just as a couple that, you're entrepreneurial, you've been through ups and downs in life, heard your story, but how do you do that as a couple? What are your strengths that you work on, and then what are some strengths that maybe Joel?
Well, I love to talk, so that's good. So for me, he's always pulling the leads in. He's great at emailing. So if he can get me somebody on the phone, it's the power in just being me. So they're going to sign up, and I have that. Why wouldn't you, right? So that's what we kind of play on, and that's his job is he's looking for anybody that will listen because he saw this as I'm going to be a millionaire. Okay. So I wanted the product. Like Whitney said, a lot of us women might look for the product, but also there's so much money that can be made at this. So I'm like, well, let's go for it. We're going to do this. We're going to do it. And I love that I can spend time with him. We were, going through this, owning some businesses to be together. Unfortunately, we had a big sacrifice because we would go to work because we couldn't afford daycare and just a lot of things. So being able to stay at home and work together, but also go enjoy life and travel all over the place. I mean, for us, I love spending time with him. So include him in that, and now you both have, okay, you're going to go out with the guys tonight, but if he's wearing a shirt, you may talk to the waitress and go, hey, my wife always does these crazy rap parties. They're pretty cool, and here's the Blitz card. So he's great at always having the Blitz card with him. And he posts that on Facebook, and a lot of the things that he doesn't leave the Blitz card on a statue. He actually gives it to somebody, it's media information. That is huge, you guys. You've got to get people's information because somebody can say, well, I've handed out all my Blitz cards and I haven't got a response. This is your job to get their information because guess what? You will call them, right? That is what he does. And that's what my job is too, is to get that information. So he's very good at that, even if it's just like going to the grocery store. He might go, I'm going to bring home one for me to help.
Yeah, I love that because anybody can do that. It's kind of what Chris said, if a woman can have a Blitz card, a man can have a Blitz card. We can all compliment each other, we can work together, work in our strengths. And actually, I was going to go over to you, Daniel, traditional business, you come from traditional business. And recently, Daniel was rewired. And by the way, some of you might hear rewired. Men don't retire when they do this business. Men get rewired. I think a lot of guys in the audience, because they have that entrepreneurial mindset, that's why they're here, and they want to be their own boss. It's not time to go sit on a flyer and look at the remote. It's time to enjoy life, but be at work on a daily basis. So here to say rewired, that's what that concept means. And you guys have been a great team. You came on board, built the business up, Daniel got rewired. How do you guys handle that as a couple? Because I know he's very active in the daily building of the business now.
Well, I guess the very first thing I would say is I'm sitting over here and I'm getting so excited and I'm like wanting to take notes with stuff y'all are saying, but I guess it's my weekend to admit weakness or something because all I want to tell you is it is not easy. Like working together, like we're talking about the excitement, so I'll just be the and tell you it was tough. I'm a microwave. My husband is a crock pot that's always on like the lowest chill setting.
He's not here to play himself.
He's an incredibly good-looking crock pot, but he's still a crock pot. So, and I'm loving and I'm learning that God has brought us our entire life to work this business together, and it makes sense to me now and why it's working so well and why we can work as a team. But it takes effort. Your marriage takes effort, right? So why wouldn't your marriage inside of this business take effort? So we work at it. We sit down and we make lists and we figure out who's good at what are his strengths, what does he enjoy. Honestly, he is not he does not enjoy being out all day, every day, talking to people, slinging raps. That's not his style. He's so good at bringing in leads. He's very good at encouragement. He's very good at encouraging me. And so he does other things to build the business. So you need to know that even if your husband, or if you guys are in here and you're thinking, yeah, I'm not a UFC fighter or a crazy banker that slings raps everywhere, right? But you can still work this business, and so he's a little more shy. But he has found a role in this business by helping bring me in leads and by helping take care of our team and helping keep me on track because he's methodical. I'll do 700 things in a day and he'll do 4, but he'll do them really, really, really well. Do you know what I mean? And that works. That's good. You guys are laughing. I'm not knocking him. It's awesome because I'll do 700 things and do them halfway. He'll do 4 things really well. So it's a good match there. But you need to hear it's tough and you need to give yourself that time to figure out how it all works, you know?
You know, that book came out a long time ago. Women are from wherever and men from wherever. I don't know what it was, but that's what my guy, I did the title. But, you know, it's true, right? But here's the great part. There's a place for men at work, there's a place for women at work, there's a place for couples that work to work together. And I think it brings us closer. It gives us the ability to work on our strengths. I love that. And plan out the time. And if you're doing, 700 things a day, if you're doing halfway or whatever, you kind of get things going, and you can close down 4 things a day, that's a great tip is work on our strengths. But we would encourage you to communicate with your spouse. If you're a single guy out there or a single girl out there, don't use that as an excuse. Well, I don't have a spouse to rap somebody if I'm uncomfortable rapping. Well, if you're a guy and you feel uncomfortable rapping somebody, go recruit a young lady that helps you rap people. If you're a young lady or an older lady and a middle-aged lady, and you say, I want to have men in my business, well, go find a man to build your business. Don't make excuses to go out and do something because you may not have the same situation as somebody else does. All right, 30 seconds each, no longer. Ready? I want to rapid fire 1 tip. If you're a woman, I want for the women. The guy, I want for the guy. Let's go.
Rapid blitz. Absolutely. I mean, you just get out there and go rap on people. There's no reason guys can't do it.
Do it. Just do it. I like that. Nikki?
Let your man be involved. Encourage him and know that he has strengths as well, like they were talking about, and put your people aside because it will help you grow your business.
I made a video on this recently about if you came into the business and you already had a network, it's very easy to watch people. It's easy to watch people that came in and already had a network. I did, and so I went to Ambassador in 7 months because I had people that I could call that were ready to go. But if you don't, look at this as you're starting to build your network. And so I would encourage you every day when you go out, get those leads because you are building your network every single day of people you can bring in your business.
Fake it till you make it. That's always been my motto. You may not feel like you're going to be Ambassador Diamond, but if you fake it, you'll get there. Take 1 step a day. Fake it till you make it, and you will get where you want to be. Woo!
As men, I know it's difficult for us to make that transition to working with our spouse, working within our home. And what I want to tell you all is it's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be tough. And I wish someone would grab the hold of me and tell me that from the very beginning. You're going to have a complete paradigm shift in everything you thought you knew about business, everything you thought you knew about your relationship, and both of those 2 things together. And I want you to know that if you are struggling, if you're challenged right now, come to me and ask me. I will share with you every mistake that I've already made, so you don't have to make it.
Boom! I love that.
A simple action step for guys. Put a wrap on and go where women are. It's very simple. So, go get your haircut this week with a wrap on. Halfway through the haircut, or a beard trim, whatever. But make that people noise, and all of a sudden, all the clippers will stop, and all of a sudden, you'll have the undivided attention of every single woman in that salon. I like that.
I say be yourself. Don't try to be somebody that you're not, because you're going to attract exactly the people that you're supposed to. So I thought, okay, I'm going to dance out here. But you know what? I have people because of me. Just be you, and you will your business grow and just be bigger than you ever could dream of. So that's it.
Give it up for my guys.
it.